Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. We are all excited to start. The sun is shining in Eindhoven and I hope the sun is shining there as well. So let's use the opportunity and have a nice program. My name is Brenda Achere and I'm going to be the facilitator of today's webinar entitled Improving the Quality of Hospitals in Africa especially. I have with me two guests. Don't hurry, you're going to see them very soon. Let's cover a few rules. We have some questions from some of you who registered, but meanwhile the program goes on, you have the chance to send more questions through email, which is info@medexcenter.net or info@medex.care. You can also email us questions through Twitter. I'm going to show you with hashtag Digital Hospital. You can also send us your questions through our Facebook page. We are open to more questions as we ride on the program. So I'm going to quickly introduce our guest speakers. We have two of them. One is sitting right here with me and one is online. So we have Merime Fojo right here, our quality expert engineer that is working with MEDx. Hi, Merime.
Hi, Brenda. Thank you for giving me the word. It's a great opportunity for me to be here today to share my experience about quality improvement, especially for hospitals in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Merime. So we are going to welcome our guest that is participating online. She's in the UK. Her name is Taiwo. Taiwo, can you quickly introduce yourself, a really short introduction?
Okay. My name is Taiwo Frank Ishewo, and like you said, I'm based in the UK. I am a biomedical scientist. I work at the University Hospital at Milton Keynes General. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Taiwo. So right now we're going to dive into the program. We are getting into really serious information here. We are going into quality talks right now. I'd like to start with the lady, Merime. It's always ladies first, so don't mind. So Taiwo, I'd like to ask you, could you give us for the first 10 to 15 minutes what quality improvement in the terms of hospital, laboratory, or any medical facility means in your profession, like as a biomedical scientist?
Okay. Well, I will start and explain from a laboratory perspective because my background is, I've worked at the lab all my life. So for me, quality improvement is the different measures, from the start of when a patient arrives at the hospital up onto the end. So when they get their results back. So it's the different measures, in place at the hospital to ensure that the patient is being taken care of, that their needs are met at and when, from when they, are admitted to the hospital right onto the end. And that goes for private laboratories as well. So when you get a request for a blood test, so right from when you get to the request up until the end. So the measures in place in between are the quality processes. So they are, a mark of the quality of a particular organization. I'll put it that way.
Thank you very much, Taiwo. So we all heard Taiwo said the whole quality improvement, the whole process is about from the beginning to the end of the whole diagnosis, like testing the blood or testing whatever in till the end where you receive your blood test and whatever follows, whether prescription or what. So it's like a beginning and end process in the laboratory point of view. So we're going to go on to Merime to give us a short introduction on improving quality management from his expert point of view. Merime, you have the floor.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I will first start with the statement that my sister Taiwo did about the processes. She mentioned the processes. And she started where the process starts and where it ends. That is a very important input in terms of processes in healthcare of quality improvement. Coming back to me, I will first define what is quality. Quality is the expectation, is the satisfaction from a patient or a client based on the service that he receives. Meaning that an organization should be able to put in place a certain structure in order to meet or exceed the satisfactions of the patients or any other service that they provide to the patient. In healthcare, quality improvement is the framework used to systematically improve the way healthcare is delivered to the patient. Meaning that the hospital manager, the clinicians, non-clinician staff, and all employees should be committed to that processes because it's a long way to go. That's what I can say about quality improvement, which is also part of quality assurance, but a big difference because people seem to confuse the differences between quality assurance and quality improvement. Quality assurance focus more on individual. Quality improvement focus on system. And in terms of error, for quality assurance, an error is same as a punishment, as a fail. For quality improvement, it's an opportunity to learn from our mistake and to make sure that the issue, the challenge that we are facing today will be solved, are under control, and will be studied in order to improve it in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary. Really detailed, like breaking the profession down, the whole quality improvement terminology. So it's good. Mary has even gone further to explain the difference between quality assurance and quality improvement, which is like a plus for us. And I don't know if you're as excited as I am. I'm really excited because I'm learning more. And this is what MEDx stands for. It's about improving. It's about improving the end product, improving the health care. So that is why today is a very important day. We are going to start answering the questions that you sent to us. Each question, we're going to take one question at a time. Meanwhile, I want to remind you, you could still send your question while we are going through the program. You can email it to us through info@medex.care. You can also send it through Twitter with hashtag Digital Hospital. You can send it to our Facebook page as well, MEDx eHealthCenter. So we're going to take the first question. This question is from the University of Nairobi, and the guy is asking, are there quality control measures in laboratory or any other medical facility available for hospitals or medical facility? Are these quality measures in place? Megme, I think you can answer, and I'm going to give Megme and Taiwo each the space to answer according to their expertise. So Megme, you can start.
Of course, in all facility center, there's a quality control. As I said, quality control, what does it mean? It means that we are going to check, to examine if the task has been performed as expected. Meaning that there's a setup that should be done to know where we stand and where we are doing. And that is all about quality control. It's a very reactive process, but it allows us to measure if what we have done has been successful or not at a certain time of event. So it's a static measurement or control, just to check if yes, the task has been well done or not. If not, there will be another phase that's called quality improvement to analyze what went wrong at which stage and take proper action to tackle the problems.
Thank you very much, Mary May. Mary May has just, explained why there are quality measures in medical facility. It's put, all these quality measures are put in place in order to be sure that the patient receive the care they deserve, or even more, like to exceed the expectation or meet the expectation. So these quality measures are in place so that we can know what is wrong, what is right, and how, if we find something that is wrong, how we can make it better. So Taiwo, I'm going to give you the floor to see how you can answer this question according to your expertise. So I can read the question once more if you want.
No, that's okay. I definitely agree with you, Sir Mary May. Part of quality is actually identifying that there's a problem in the first place, and put in the process, because if you can't see a problem, how do you know what process to put in place? From my laboratory perspective, one of the things we do, the first stage of quality improvements, or the measures put in place, is to have a quality committee. So this committee are the ones that, they do all the assessment needed, right? Like I said earlier on, right from the start to the end. So have your quality committee. One of the measures that's very important, I believe, is audits. Audit is a process, it's a toolkit, it's like a tick list of, where you have different plans of what you're actually looking for. It helps put a structure into it, it helps put a plan, it helps put, like a sense of, we know what we're looking for, and we know what the aim at the end is. So, having audits in place, there are different types of audits you can do. You can do like an examination audit. So examination audit, you're actually seeing people do stuff. So you're looking around, seeing people do stuff, and you're, measuring to see if it meets the standard, you are looking for. We have horizontal audits, vertical audits. I won't go into the different explanation, but, those are some of the toolkits you can use. Another thing that I feel is important is customer survey as well. It goes back to actually identifying a problem. An organization or hospital, they might just be going on a plane and, feeling, everything is okay. But if you get feedbacks from your service user, if you get feedback from your service user, how to plan, the slacks in the company, how to improve it. So just to summarize what I've said, so have your quality committee, have tools in place to actually measure the processes. So your audit, which is your audit, and also have a customer survey, a feedback from your service user.
Thank you very much, Taiwo. Thank you very much for the explanation. I'm just going to bring another question further that is talking about horizontal audit and vertical audit. I think this is the nice time to throw it to you, Taiwo. So it says, how often are vertical and horizontal audits undertaken? What is the importance of doing these audits, and what would you do if the audits fail? So this question is from a biomedical scientist from Nigeria.
Okay. Audits are very important. Like, take for example, every laboratory in the UK, they are measured against a standard. It's a standard set by a professional body, and we are being assessed on a sort of let's say a yearly, 2-yearly basis, depending on your organization, by a body called UCAS. Part of the things they like to see is this audits. They will not necessarily like visit everywhere, look at every nook and cranny of the of your organization, but the audits are just the paperwork in place that shows you've met all the standards. And in terms of answering the question of how regularly regular should one do an audit, as and when you feel there's a need to, let's say for example, if there's been an incident reported, so someone had a slip, or someone had a what's it called, an infection from the virology and microbiology department, that alone is it's enough for you to carry out an audit. So you're looking for how to prevent this from happening. It's part of the risk assessment improvement plan as well. So you're looking for how to prevent such incident from happening. So I would say there is no restriction as to, you know, how often you should carry out an audit. If, you know, if anything has been reported, that's an opportunity to carry out an audit. If there's a new process in place in your laboratory, that's a plan, you know, that's an avenue for you to carry out an audit. You know, if there's any, you know, any new test you've taken on board, you know, anything new, anything that you've been doing for 3 years that you feel needs reviewing, that's an opportunity and an avenue to carry out an audit. So there is no restriction. The more audits you do, the more, you know, ways you see you can improve. You know, sometimes, you know, when you work in an organization, you might not necessarily see the loopholes. You might not see, you know, how, you know, measures you need to put in place to improve things. So going back, you know, it's like you're going back, you're reflecting, okay, looking from the bigger picture, not necessarily just, you know, doing your daily process. So there is no restriction, I would say, you know, as to how often you carry out, you know, your audit. Yeah, you know, don't wait till you have your assessment. You know, don't rush around. You know, a lot of laboratories fall into that problem where, you know, oh, there's a UCAS inspection. By the way, UCAS is United Kingdom Accreditation Service. So that's what UCAS means. So you don't wait till they write you a letter to say we are coming to assess you, to you know, to assess and see if your laboratory is up to standard before you start rushing around. So, you know, you have your audit, you know, paper, you have all your paperwork in place, you know, you just present it to them. So, you know, there is no restriction. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Taiwo. I'm going to give the floor to Merime. I see he's boiling to share with us. Merime, can you go ahead?
Yeah, I will just add something to what Taiwo said, which is really consistent, because audit refers to a systematic and independent examination of the processes of an organization in order to exceed and see how far they are committed to reach their own objectives and goals. That is why audit is made for. We can have internal as external audit, but I strongly believe that the question was most from external audit. That means there is a relation between the notified body who provide the certification or ISO certificate to an organization, and he should make sure that the organization have in place a correct plan of action to exceed the customer or patient satisfaction. Coming to the term of horizontal and vertical audit. An horizontal audit is a choice made by the auditor to take only one process and check it across many departments. For instance, a training record, he will take, okay, I'm going to check if the training record is performed into this organization. Why employee needs training? They need trainings because technology are changing. They need to adapt themselves to the level of the technology to be able to satisfy the patient. So for horizontal audit, as far the auditor decide to go for training record, he will check the training record from one department to another department and continue like this all across the department in the organization. But that kind of audit has a limitation because the auditor will not have many opportunities to see the link between one process and the other one. And that is why the vertical audit is made for. The vertical audit is performed when an auditor decides to audit all the processes used by one department. In this case, he has more opportunity to see the cross sections among the processes, which should be linked to the quality management of the organizations. And with that, he has opportunity to see if the output of the first process is really the input of the second one. And that allows him to have a good measurement and see how far the organization is committed to his own quality plan and the action taken to exceed the customer satisfaction or patient satisfaction.
Thank you very much, Merime. That's interesting. This is what I can summarize quickly. Taiwo brought us to a point of continuous improvement mind that she's trying to tell us it's good when you have like a mind of continuous improvement where you can say every year twice or once or twice we're supposed to have audit which is monitoring the system, the whole processes, and see what we can improve, which process we can improve. And Mary came in with the whole difference between vertical and horizontal audits, which from what I understand, the vertical audit is more about all processes that are in one department, and horizontal, it's about really deep diving one process in that department and trying to monitor and see what you can improve in it. What audits are very important, and it's for you to determine when and how you want to perform it, but it's important to do it in order to improve the whole quality of the healthcare. So above all, MEDx is standing for improvement of healthcare, improvement of the outcome of whole patient experience. So this is what it's talking about as well. We're standing for that, and this is it. So we're going to move to the next question. So the next question is from the University of Makerere in Uganda, I think. I don't see the country right here. So it's asking, how can we ensure improved accessibility of healthcare in Africa? So this is improved accessibility. I believe it's also quality improvement. And Taiwo, you have been to Africa and you were like in place in the laboratory, helping to monitor the processes in the laboratory. How can you answer this question?
I'll be very honest with this question. I think for me is education, educating, people, on ground, doing the day-to-day, service in the laboratory. When I visited Ibadan, to be specific, I can't speak for every other part of Nigeria, Ibadan to be specific, one of the things I identify is there's a massive, difference between a private-owned laboratory and a government-owned laboratory. Like the margin is just too much, and a lot of the private organizations, they see the need to educate their staff. They don't want their staff to be obviously running up and down, and obviously causing them to spend a lot of money. So when you've educated your staff on the need for quality, need to obviously update themselves in their professional development, the service will run smoothly. A lot of the government-owned laboratory, unfortunately, I would say possibly due to low budgets or due to lack of finance, there is no, in terms of the educating their staff, they don't have a foresight to doing that. They don't see a need, to do that, and a lot of people I see that work in the governmental laboratory, they yearn for professional development. They seek, sometimes they actually apply to external people that can help them. A lot of them are just, very well, advanced. They yearn to learn more and to seek more improvement outside the frame the government have put them in. So, going back to your question, it's education, in every form you can. Thank God for social media. Thank God for technology in 2017. You have access to things online. There are a lot of free webinars. You can connect to webinars, in the States. You can connect to webinars, in the United Kingdom, in Australia. Everything is free. So, education is very important. Education is very important.
Thank you very much, Taiwo. So Taiwo is stressing on educating yourself, either on the internet or through specialists. And we all know where to find it right now. The internet is there. We can find whatever we want. So educate yourself, and you'll be very grateful for that. So, which is why we're educating you today from MEDx, because we have a vision of quality improvement. We have a mindset of quality improvement. So we're going to go to the next question. This question says, it's from the University of Development Studies, from Achempong. I don't know from which country this student is is writing from. So the question says, what can be done for quality and adequate equipment in every hospital? What can you do to improve them? Quality and also to have adequate equipment. Can you start and then we move to Taiwan?
The question was, what can we do for quality?
What can we do for good quality and adequate equipment in the hospital?
Okay. To improve the quality in the hospital, we first need to start by the measurement. That is the vision that MEDx already carried out years ago. Because quality improvement is a long way to go, doesn't have a stop line. We should make sure that we have resources, effort, and equipment to be able to reach the level of quality we want. Because looking at the hospital in Africa, we can clearly see that there's no structures, meaning no equipment with minimum requests to satisfy the patient. There's no processes, and that simply means that the outcome of healthcare can never be good enough. So, for improving quality in the hospital, MEDx carry out a simple step for improvement, which is based on a well-known processes in quality improvement, which is the Pareto 8-20. The Pareto 8-20 means what? It means that the 80% of the issue that patients are facing on the field are the result of the 20% of the cause within an hospital or a facility. So, to improve those quality, manager of the hospital need to focus on that 20% of the processes, roll up their sleeve to tackle that issue. And there is already processes and standards well known that have good reputation in other sectors like industry that can be really adapted in the healthcare to tackle the challenge we are facing today, especially in Africa hospital. Beside the Pareto rules 80-20, we have a Kaizen rule, which is a PDSA, which means plan, do, study, and act. That is a circular processes. And the circular processes simply means that we never end. Besides that, I need to highlight that we are talking about quality improvement, which is most related to processes. That does not mean that the clinician and the medical staff doesn't have any role to play. They have a top role to play for the quality improvement in the hospitals because they are the owner of those processes. Meaning they are those who can clearly tell us what can be improved, when and how, in order to meet the requirement of the patient. And beside that, once the management of the hospital adopt the quality improvement plan, they will see the result immediately because big change and achievement come from small improvement. They don't need big investment to improve the quality of the patient in the hospital. They have to start by small change in their daily activities in order to prepare the staff at all levels to be extraordinarily committed to the culture of quality improvement. Coming from the structural point of view, MEDx also has a plan to facilitate good level and high technology of equipment in Africa. But the main challenge is to educate at tirelessly to educate those clinicians how to use those equipment, how to maintain it, going through the calibration process, and all other requirements that are made by manufacturer for the good and long life of those equipment that will help our clinician to perform their job as it should be, and at certain point to take proper decision based on the processes they are using. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary May. So Mary May has, educated us. Just as Taiwo said, education is the best. It's where we should start from. Mary May just educated us about the Pareto rule, which is the 80-20 rule. This rule, I don't know if you learned about it, but I have it in my head, and now Mary May just helped me to revise it, that if you improve 20% of the processes, you have an outcome of improving the whole 80%. So it's like touching one part and you have a bigger outcome. So that's the mindset all of us should have. And this is the mindset of MEDx. This is the whole vision of MEDx, where it stands. So thank you very much, Mary May. I'm going to take another question to Taiwo, that I'm going to direct to Taiwo. The question reads, does patient satisfaction depend solely on physicians' willingness to cooperate in the quality improvement of a hospital or a laboratory?
I would say patient's satisfaction does not necessarily depend on, the physician's cooperation. Sometimes you just have patient that just, you can't, satisfy, anyone. You just have patients that just want to complain in general. As long as, as an organization or laboratory, you have your policy in place, you have, things you can provide and things you can't provide. And if you have a patient or a customer come in place and they are sort of challenging, take it for example, they're not happy with specific test results. That's normal. You question, I feel normal, but you say take for example, you say my ferritin is low, but I feel normal. You say my red blood cell is low. That's a genuine question. That's a genuine concern. When things like that come across, it's up to the laboratory to investigate, be it call back the patient and, do the test again so they can give them the assurance they need. But, going back to the question, I don't think you can, the patient satisfaction is depending solely on physicians, cooperation. A laboratory or any hospital they are service providers, so no matter what, the patients are right, customers are always right, that's what they say. But some are genuine, some are not, utterly sort of genuine concern. So what I would say, as long as the physician are willing to do their best to give the right service, I think the patient cooperation is also very important. So we need to look at it in a broader perspective. So yeah, everyone is responsible. A patient is responsible for their own healthcare pathway system. So if a doctor say take this dose daily, are you taking it daily? Are you skipping one or two? So it works both ways. But from an organization, laboratory, hospital perspective, customers are always right either way. So yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Taiwo. So what I got is physicians are not solely responsible. Patients are also responsible, but also physicians and hospital as a general have to be open to quality improvement mindset. So that's very educative. Thank you, Taiwo. So I have a question here from Mary May. Mary May, someone is asking, can you conclude that the inflow of international patients to a hospital depends on its ranking level? And this ranking level, the further explained that it depends on the quality of these hospitals.
Yes, of course. If manager will have to receive international patients into the center, they should be able to set up the level of the quality a bit higher. That means what? In a very simple way, they should know what are the requirements of the patient. That is the initial point. By knowing what is the requirement of the patient, they have opportunity to discuss with their staff what can be done to accomplish or exceed those requirements. And that need an organization to be well structured, documented, and be able to manage the data, because quality improvement is all about data. And all those parameters can allow you or patient to rank you in the locality you are. And nowadays, there's already a standard that helps you to run your hospital. Most is carried out by the ISO standardization organizations or some accreditation agencies, which can help you to achieve your goal. But you have to be transparent, open to tell them truly which challenges you are facing, and allow them to measure your current quality level to be able to set up an action plan based on MEDx vision, how you can have better ranking within the market. So it's clear, no patient will go to the hospital with a poor reputation, with a poor reputation of quality. No one will go there. They'll always seek hospitals who are qualified, who work as a professional, and in which the manager implement a culture of quality improvement, a mindset. So I will probably say yes for that question.
Thank you very much, Mary May. Indeed, the inflow of international patients to a hospital depends on the level of the quality of that hospital. And Mary May took it further to explain that quality improvement has to depend on data-driven. Like, it has to be data-driven, because this means you take some time to monitor processes, to monitor experiences from patients, and also listening to your patients, how they rate the services they had, how they were satisfied, and things like that. Implementing also a patient survey, aftercare survey. These are little things that matters in quality improvement, and that's what Mary May told us about. And this brings me also to the next question that someone said. If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. And just to inform you, we have MEDx has an article about this, and this article talks about building data for all processes and also for healthcare services, because it's from here that you go to improvement. You have to know when you build how it happened, you know, how you did in the past, how you served patients, what was their experiences before you can see how to improve that. And this article from MEDx brings like a light, throws light onto bringing now the standards of quality improvement, how MEDx can help you as a hospital or any other medical facility to improve the quality of your facility. So I have one more question that I'm going to go through. I'm going to ask both of you to cite your sites. So it says, how can you explain the fact that quality management is the science of process management?
I start?
Yes, Mirmi, I would like you to start. Now it's gentleman time.
Yeah, it's very simple, as I said, because talking about quality improvement is most about system improvement, not about people or individual improvement. All is centered to the processes. And talking about processes link us to the system. We have to consider an hospital just as a system. What is getting in and what can get out from it. That simple means that the processes is the core for quality improvement. And if you look at the structure of the quality improvement, you have as input of the processes the structural of the hospital, which means the staff, its manager. I can include patient in this case because they all work for the well-being of the patients. and also the equipment and the technology that is used. Then you have the processes. The processes define what should be done, when and how, in order to carry out a good healthcare output. That means a satisfaction from the patient. So you can clearly see that the processes is the transformation of the structural input to the outcome of the healthcare. And that's the reason why the statistic doctor, Edward Dimi, defined quality improvement as a management of processes. And that is also related to the data driven within an organization.
Thank you very much, Mary May. Mary May really went further on educating us on the whole science of process management. Taiwo, can we hear from you about these?
Yes, I totally agree with you, Sir Mary May. You know, the quality improvement is the science of process improvement. You know, there is no way to go around that. What I will say to that is, you know, it's, if you want continuity of your business, it's very important, you know, to pay attention to, you know, the quality plans, or, you know, advice from or feedbacks from patient, for example. This is, you know, one of the key major things that would ensure that the service you provide, you know, is still at the top. It's very important if you want to maintain that service you provide. So yeah, I totally agree with what Sir Mary May has said, and you know, I would not add or take out from that. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Taiwo. So we are going to round up, but we have to have a stop to one or two statements. Right now, I believe I learned a lot today, and I think you too did learn a lot. But we want to leave with one last statement from our experts. I'm going to start with the lady. You know, it's always ladies first. I'm sorry, maybe. Taiwo, before we call it a day, can you give an advice to all the medical doctors, hospital managers that are listening to us, or that are going to listen to the video, on a little advice on where to put quality, the whole quality improvement of a hospital, how to go about it, how much they need it? Just give them a short advice.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank MEDx for such platform. You know, what you guys are doing, it's amazing. So my advice would just be, you know, provide, you know, you have the vision, you have the vision of where you want to see your company go in the, let's say, or if you're working for a company as well. If you haven't yet, make sure you set up a quality committee. You know, set up a committee that they are keep an eye on, you know, the processes you've put in place, or the process in place in the hospital or in the laboratory. So what you need to do is also make sure you carry out your audit. You know, make sure you carry out your audit. There is no restraint to yourself. Make sure you carry out your audit, and please, you know, put the right survey, you know, the survey questionnaire, put it out there for your customers. You know, get feedback on how you're doing. It will definitely go a long way. It will help with, you know, improving and, you know, making sure that the vision is still in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Taiwo. Thank you. It's a good advice. So I'm going to turn to Mary May. What I learned is all this quality improvement mindset is really difficult in Africa. It's really a struggle. So Mary May, I want you to focus, to like have a chat with the hospital managers, laboratory managers in Africa looking at you right now, and give them an advice.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. To all hospital managers that I consider, and I understand that their responsibility is so high.
Yeah.
But I have a simple tip for them. It's simple to ask them to be the own promoter of the healthcare facility and healthcare center. What does it mean being a promoter of his own business? It means making advertisement, telling to people how I'm committed to deliver good quality of health to the patients. And that comes through quality improvement. Many of them are thinking that they need big investment to improve the quality of the patient. No. I will tell them just to contact MEDx, follow the vision of MEDx, because we have a quality improvement model in place that will solve at 80% and guarantee and exceed the satisfaction of the patient. All changes does not necessarily mean improvement, but all improvement equal to changes. Yes. So make sure that your staff, I will clearly say, in Africa, we have extraordinary committed clinicians, physicians to their function, highly educated and very intelligent. What they need is the commitment of the top manager. Mm-hmm. And commitment means carrying a culture within an organization, mm-hmm. a teamwork, a self-study, a training. Make sure that the employee has the necessary tools they need to perform their job as it should be. And that is the only way for them to be a promoter of their own healthcare center. And to the patient, I will also say, MEDx vision is also to give them opportunity to make their voice heard. Patient satisfaction survey. I'm not excluding medical staff, mm-hmm. because they will also tell us through a survey what do they think about their current process and how can we improve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary May. So like Mary May said, I like to lean on that. We have surveys online on MEDx.care website. You don't need to first, be a member, but just to show you how important it is, when you scroll down the page, you're going to see as a patient, you have survey. As a medical staff, there are surveys. As a hospital manager, there are also surveys for you. So it's important that we hear what you think and know how to help you. So reach us through our website. You can also send us emails through our email, info@medex.care. Send us Twitter also with hashtag digital hospital. Anytime, we're going to get back to you. Thank you very much for your attendance. I want to give a shout out to our experts. Thank you very much for the outstanding performance. And also, of course, I want to mention MEDx. Thank you very much for the this opportunity. MEDx is very good, and we're going to make it. We're going to improve hospitals. We're going to build a mindset of continuous improvement. So it's good. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you.